I'm here at Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium as this Sunday the Green Bay Packers will take on the New York Giants in the NFL London Games. Well, I caught up with Jack Crawford, former star of the NFL, about what he thinks about the spectacle, bringing a team to London potentially in the NFL, and he tried to sell me American football as a die-hard soccer fan. Jack, thank you for chatting with me today. Yes, thank you very much for coming on the show. Let's start with this stadium first of all. Yeah. It's quite a coliseum. You've played in a hell of a lot of places around the US. How does this compare for Sunday?
Well, first of all, I am a little bit salty that I never got the opportunity to play in the stadium after coming to last week's game and last year's game here. It's the atmosphere here feels a little bit different than when I played back in the UK in Wembley. It's weird because it's like a state-of-the-art NFL stadium that I would go to in America, but it's here in London. And there's just something about the fans here that they're so enthusiastic that they bring the same level of intensity and enthusiasm to every play. Every catch, every field goal that's kicked. I mean, it really don't matter which team is doing it. They just love the game. And I could see some of the players on the field get hyped for that. They responded to the fans and just the passion that the fans were showing. And it just kind of brought me back a little bit, man. It made me feel like I wish I got to experience that.
Well, talk to us a little bit about NFL in London. You talk about the fans and what they've brought to the whole spectacle here. There was some talk that perhaps there could be an NFL team in London, maybe move the Jacksonville Jaguars over here. That might not happen, and the Mayor Sadiq Khan said, wouldn't it be great to have a team over here? What do you think of that? Do you think that would be a good thing? Do you think that would take off? And would the American fans, get behind it?
I would love to see it. I would love to see someone try and do it, but honestly, it's not. I don't think it's as realistic. I don't think it's that feasible. How would you do the schedule? Because you would be exhausted traveling back and forward to the States. If you had to play a game against the LA Rams and you're a London team, you would be traveling 12 hours just to go and play somebody, and then you're 12 hours back to come practice. It just goes against the nature of the work week in the NFL. And we put everything into the practice, everything into recovery, that you would just be at a disadvantage playing for this team. So I think that you have to kind of look at it differently. I think that the game is growing. All right, well, how do we expand? All right, now we basically have to increase the level of competition of American football in Europe, in Africa, in other parts of the world. I don't think we should be looking at bringing a team from the NFL and putting it here. The NFL is the NFL. That's the cream of the crop. But there's nothing underneath the NFL. They're trying to do it in America, but it's tough because everybody wants to make it to the NFL and nobody's willing to invest in the level under the NFL. But I think there's a lot of talent here in Europe. I think there's a lot of talent all over the world. And I think if you bring this sport and you bring it to Europe, you bring it to the rest of the world, I think it's going to continue to grow because I truly think it's the best team game that exists. And I just think people don't know the rules yet. That's it. And I think that, and I never grew up an American football fan. I didn't even like American football when I played it. But when I started to learn more about it, I started to understand the strategy of it. And once you understand the strategy, you start to become invested, and you start to see why coaches do this, why players make these decisions. And you start to say, all right, this isn't a slow game. People in Europe think it's just start, stop, start, stop. I don't understand it, it's boring.
All right, sell it to me then, because I would usually come to this at a stadium to watch a Premier League game.
Yes.
Sunday, very different spectacle.
Yes.
For someone, a layman, when it comes to NFL, tell me why I should really get invested in it, particularly someone that might think, there is a lot of stop-start.
It's intense. And a lot of other sports, and I'll compare it to basketball. Like basketball has 60 or 80, I can't remember how many games a year. Baseball has 100-something games a year. Soccer, it has, I don't know how many games are in the season. Football right now has 17. They only just increased that by one game. So the intensity of every single play, it matters. And you can see that, the reflection of that on the field. And that transfers to the fans, because once you understand the sport, you realize how much is on the line for these guys on the field. And football is, people in the NFL, we say NFL stands for not for long, because the NFL career is so short. And you can sense that. I mean, everyone's on edge. on the NFL. My NFL career, I spent trying to survive. Everybody knows these big names, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, you know, Saquon Barkley, these big players come in. You're talking about 0.1% of the NFL. The rest of us are fighting to stay alive. And you can see that coming on the field. And the more you learn about the sport, the more you understand about what's at stake for everybody. The more you understand about, you know, the nature of this business. As soon as we sign you, we're looking for your replacement. That's how, so you're never comfortable in the league. And I think that every business could take a little bit of like lesson from the NFL, because once you allow somebody to get comfortable, they take their position for granted. NFL, they don't allow that. NFL is as soon as you sign you take your position for granted, and that's reflected in the sport. And when you're getting invested in it, and once you start to learn the rules, you'll see it.
Yeah. Let's talk about those close competitive games and given what's happening on Sunday, the Green Bay Packers, New York Giants. What we're expecting for that? Who's the favourite? Tell us a bit about.
And I hate speculating. Obviously, I'm just fresh out of the league, so I understand what it's like, you know, hearing people speculate is like, you're talking about something else. We're worried like about our job and winning the game. And I've been parts of games where I've gone into a situation where I've been on like a team like the Giants, and we've gone into the Packers, played the Packers in their stadium, and we've beat them on their home field, in front of their home fans who are crazy, in the freezing cold in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So, you know, football is any given Sunday, man, and anything can happen. I don't like speculating in this sport because it's not worth it, man. Anyone can come out. I mean, you never know how the travel's going to affect them. I mean, you know, the Giants only coming from New York. They might just be, you know, it's short flight. They might be ready to go. Who knows? Green Bay have to come ready to play. They might be getting complacent.
Well, any given Sunday, who knows what might happen.
Any
Jack,
given
thank
Sunday.
you very much.
Yeah, man, of course.